Morning, everyone. I see people still coming in here, so we'll give it maybe a couple more minutes. And if you are here, I know a lot of people have your camera off, but like the virtual class I had to teach during COVID, please just give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're here if you're ready to begin, or feel free to turn on your camera for just a minute or two. It's always nice to see everyone. All right, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. We have an Alexandria Wright. There you go. Yes, I actually, Marlena, hi. I actually work with two other Alexandras. So my boss flipped out when I joined the team and he's like, oh my God, another. And I said, I'm an Alexandria. It's different. Still a mouthful, but a little different. All right, we have quite a few. Excellent, excellent. All right, it's 10:05, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I would like to just take a minute to introduce myself, and then perhaps if we could go around really fast. I'm not sure if you guys already did this at the beginning of today's session, but because this is kind of an explicit session about data-informed practice, and it'd be great to get to know some of you. My name's Dr. Alexandria Wright. I'm a senior researcher over here at WestEd, which is a nationwide nonprofit. I'm a portion of a very tiny piece of WestEd. WestEd has over 700 employees nationwide, and we focus on educational evaluation and research. My little unit here is in the Center of Economic Mobility. There's about 20 of us, and I'm the lead for economic, labor market, and education data. So I'm sure many of you, and at least I hope many of you, have taken a look at your Reach data deck. So may I get a show of hands or thumbs up as if anyone's taken a look at that Reach data deck that you were given for this project? I got one hands. I got a thumbs up, two thumbs up, great. Okay, so many of you may not have had this opportunity yet. So I was the one who developed that data deck. I had a couple of researchers assist me in gathering that information, and our perspective was, if we could put a compilation of data together for community colleges and community college administrators, deans, faculty, then you would have in one location a place that you can look at intersectional data to start a deeper understanding and analysis of equity gap analysis, as well as pathway design. So if you guys don't mind, then, since not a lot of people have looked at these, and I'm going to take a little notes as I get through, if we wouldn't mind going around the room really fast and just let me know your name and the college that you're with, and if you've had a chance to look at your data deck, because we're going to get kind of specialized in this session, and then we're going to continue it in the next session. So I think I did see somebody. If you don't mind, let's start with Wendy up there. I'm just going to go by the people that I see. Wendy, what college are you from? And have you been able to take a look at your data deck?
Yeah, I'm an academic dean at Red Rocks Community College, and I did review our data deck. Although missing a couple of small counties, and I think I'm still waiting on that.
Red Rock, yes, I have you. I have you on my list. You have helped me better understand how to ask for information too from the colleges. So thank you so much. All right, Dr. Tina Parscale, if you wouldn't mind.
Hi, good morning. Tina Parscale, Associate Vice Chancellor, CCCS. I have not reviewed the college's data deck, so I'm here to learn.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And Brooke Colton?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brooke Colton. My pronouns are she, her. I am from Pikes Peak Community College, Pikes Peak State College, and I have not had an opportunity to look at our data deck yet.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, and I'll move right over. It looks like Monday, Barasiga.
Bursiaga.
Bursiaga,
Thank you
thank you.
for trying. I appreciate that. Monday Bursiaga, Dean of Students at Red Rocks Community College, and I have not had the chance to read that deck.
Okay, no problem. We're going to go through it. Thank you so much, Monday. And Bo Green.
I'm so sorry. I was in the eternal search for the mute button. My name is Bo Green. I'm coming to you from the Community College of Aurora, and my position is the Director of Student Advocacy Support Services.
Great. Thank you so much, Bo. Appreciate
And I have
that.
not reviewed the data deck. I really apologize, but I'm
That's
thrilled
okay.
to be here.
Don't worry about it. We're here together to learn. Absolutely. Thank you. And Marielena DeSantis? I know your daughter's name already.
Hi, good morning. Marielena DeSanctis Marie, for those who don't want to attempt Marielena. I'm the president of the Community College of Denver, and I have not only not reviewed the data deck, I don't even think I have it in my possession. So I will search for this elusive data deck.
No problem. You know, what we can do too, while we're doing these little introductions, is if you go over to your Microsoft Teams file folders. Okay, so if everybody can log into Microsoft Teams, go over to your college's folder and then enter in there. We put them in, and I'm sorry, my Microsoft Teams is a little, between Google and Microsoft Teams and Zoom, we have a lot of areas where we keep things. I believe we put it inside, it wasn't data informed practice, but it was metrics, the file folder for metrics and data. So while we're introducing, we finish these introductions, please feel free to search that Microsoft Teams folder, and then I'm going to stop quit briefly and make sure everybody's found their data deck. So let's move on to Mr. Andrew Miller.
Good morning, Andrew Miller, Dean of Health Professions and Public Safety at Pueblo Community College. And like Maria Elena, I have not even looked at it, nor do I know where it is. So thanks for pointing us the right way.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Does everybody here have access to your Microsoft Teams site? You don't, Maria Elena. Okay, all right. Let's do this. Let's keep going here. Mr. Perry Pepper, great name.
Good morning, thank you. My name is Perry Pepper. I'm the Director of Academic Services for Pueblo Community College, and I'm down here in the southwestern corner of Colorado.
Excellent, thank you. I'm going to be using your data deck as our sample today, so you guys will get to see that. And thank you. And you know, Maria Elena, as long as we are, there's only 2 team sites that are internal to CCCD, and you don't see a team site or you don't see a folder within your college's folder that says data, metrics, anything like that. All right.
There isn't like a CCD folder, like we have one for our goal call or for our, you know, shared governance committee, for our faculty council. Like I see a bunch of team sites, but they're all stuff that CCD has created for CCD.
They're not from ESG Reach.
No.
That's where you guys should be looking. Okay, that's all right. Let's do this and we'll take our time because this is important stuff. If you put your email in the chat box, I have your data decks. I'm going to email them to you right now. And that way everybody will have them as we move through this. We have plenty of time. It's only 9:12. Let's go ahead and make sure you guys have access to those data decks. Let's keep going through introductions really fast. And that way, only put your email in there if you do not have your data deck. Thank you. And Stephanie Fuji, please.
Good morning, Stephanie Fuji. I'm the president at Arapahoe Community College, and I just put my email in there.
All right, thank you. I've been using your data deck a lot too, as a sample here. Great. And Nicole?
Hi, I'm Nicole Servino. I am the incoming co-chair of the English department at the Community College of Denver. And I put my email in the chat to receive the data deck.
Excellent. Oh, and you know what? I should say this only because I know Maria Elena, you were Community College of Denver. I wonder if that's a late, when you put your college in there, make sure you give me the college, or when you put your email, make sure you give me the college too. So I'm sending you the correct data deck. I just want to make sure, were you guys a late add to the REACH project? Oh, no, I have you. Community College of Denver, right there. Never mind. I gotcha. All right. And then I know there's quite a few from RRCC that didn't have mics, so I'm not going to trouble you guys for that. Anybody else? For the rest, I can't see anybody. So if you want to just go ahead and unmute and and introduce yourself if you're able to. All right, Lance, I see you. Go ahead.
Hi, Alexandria. I'm Lance Bolton, president at Pikes Peak Community College, and like lots of us, I don't think I've even heard of the data decks.
Oh my goodness. All right. So
and some thumbs up from some of my colleagues. So yeah, appreciate your help.
Let's get this going on then. And Kelly, I see, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Kelly Graves?
Yeah, Kelly Graves at CCCS, IR Business Reporting Analyst. And did you have a data deck for the CCCS or just the individual colleges?
Just the individual colleges. Okay.
So
yeah, but fabulous to have you here. And I believe you did assist us with gathering some of the data for these decks.
Yes.
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. Given where we are at this circumstance and that so many people have not received these, nor do you have access to that Microsoft Teams ESG Reach site, I'm going to stop briefly. And if you'll just give me about 3 minutes, I'm going to get everybody their data decks right now. So pause for 3 minutes, get your coffee, hit the rush. In your email box, when you return, you should have your data deck. Thank you so much. 3 minutes. I'm trying to send everybody their decks in one email from each college, if that makes sense. So you'll see it coming through for all of you guys. Okay, CCCD, or CCD, you should have yours coming right now. All right, Pikes Peak, you should have yours coming in right now. Thank you, everyone, for giving me just this moment in time. I think you'll appreciate this. I'm sorry, what is aurora.edu? Bo?
Yeah, it's Community College of Aurora, and the email address is ccaurora, AURORA.
Thank you. For some reason, I'm not seeing it in my files.
I see.
But it may be someplace else, even though I should have all these. Maybe you got stuck in another file. So I'm going to keep looking for yours, but let me get everybody upstairs. Thank you so much, Bo. All right. And then, okay, so we got Arapahoe should have theirs. CCD should have theirs. Pikes Peak should have yours. Pueblo, let me get you Pueblo. All right. All right, Pueblo should have those. Dr. Pascal, I just went ahead and sent you a copy of Pueblo's so you can kind of follow along with that. And I think I have one more for Otero, and then we'll start going through these suckers. Hi, Stephanie. I sent you over the deck for Arapahoe. Please check your spam or junk mail. It should be sitting in there. And I do have one other college. Let's see. What is, and I'm sorry, Tina Sauceda, CCCS?
Yes, hello. Yes, that's the Colorado Community College System Office.
Ah, yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
So I don't have a system-wide one, but would you like me to just shoot you over Pueblo, since we're gonna be using that as a sample?
Yes, that would be fine. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. And I think everybody outside of Bo should have them then. Please speak up if you don't. Let me get this last one sent over. Bo, I just found yours. It's coming right now. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, I think I have everyone covered here. Is there anyone from, so we got Arapahoe's hose out there. Anybody here from Colorado Northwest Community College? Speak up now. Anybody here from Trinidad? I have Red Rocks, and I see you have a lot of people. I'm going to work on that when I'm done. I have a couple more lectures after this, but I'm going to get you that deck today. I apologize. We are moving quickly with our data decks. And gathering the data is very timely for us. So we'll get to that. Pueblo, you have yours. Pike Peaks, you have yours. Otero, you have yours. Anybody here from Northeastern Junior College? Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Morgan or Lamar? Front Range. And, oh, Community College of Denver. Did I get you guys yours? All right. Thank you, Tina. All right, awesome. Okay, now that that's settled, everybody has their data decks. Let's walk through this together. We still have about 30 minutes here in this session, and I'm going to have another session right behind this, and we'll probably do the similar thing. Let's walk through what we prepared for you in the auspices of REACH, through this context of REACH, since this is what we're studying here today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and please, as I move through this, feel free to post questions in the chat, or just unmic yourself, unmute yourself, and just speak up. Happy to answer any questions as we move through this. Host disabled participant sharing. Let's see, where is my tech girl, Kate? Kate Barnes, there she is. Kate Barnes, can you please enable sharing?
Yep. Sorry.
Thank you so much. No worries. Okay, bear with me. Hopefully, so is everybody opening up their decks? They're looking at it. They're scrolling. Okay, excellent. You know, and while I have you here, while we're waiting here for just a second, Wendy, let me ask you this. One of the things I started doing for rural colleges, I just finished another 15 decks for some rural colleges that were assisting for the upcoming Strengthening Community Colleges grant that's due on June 2nd. And I started to aggregate the county level data based on whether or not the college was actually going to differentiate among campuses and focus on specialties in certain areas. So I know you guys had a handful more of counties that you were serving. Is it cool with you guys if I use that methodology? So I'm going to go ahead and aggregate the data in there for the industry sectors and the occupations, unless you tell me explicitly that you have a specific campus that you want to hone in on a specific economy in a particular region. Does that make sense?
So are you talking about aggregating the counties we're waiting on with Jefferson County?
I will leave your deck alone, but the remaining counties that you've asked for, I was going to aggregate those counties based on this newer methodology that I've developed.
To put the two counties we're missing together?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's fine unless someone from our group thinks otherwise. I don't know that we.
Is not, I understand if our RCC is not a rural college. I understand that. But it's just, I don't live in Colorado, so I have to depend on you guys to tell me if there's a huge difference in the economies there. I look at the maps for everyone. I'm a regional economist, so I try to look at transit routes and see if there's really differences. And sometimes what I found is groupings are perfectly fine. They're less distracting for you guys too, because now you have all your information kind of aggregated in one spot. If I notice that, hey, in these couple of counties, there's a higher propensity for manufacturing versus in these couple of counties, it's more service sector oriented, I will split those into sections for you guys. But does that sound about right? Is that okay for the remaining colleges? I'll go ahead and aggregate it then.
I think that's okay for us.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Thank you guys. All right. So I can share with you guys now. Yay. All right. So we're going to go through this together. And again, please, please do not hesitate to unmic yourself and ask a question as we move through this. So we're going to look at Pueblo's Community College's deck as a sample for this, okay? We start by going through how to read this document, right? So we put this together. Again, it's got several different data points, but not just any data points. They're your socio-demographic, your economic data, your labor market information, and most in particular, the socio-demographic data that we included is intersectional, meaning that we are looking at by race, gender, by race and ethnicity, though you could absolutely look by gender and age as well. Let's see here, and Bo Otero's deck for Aurora and Otero, check your spam mail. Pardon me, I'm going to pause for just 1 second, make sure I got those sent out in my email. Yep, I have Bo, yours was sent out, no problem, and Otero, so was yours. So give it just another quick sec and it should be in there, and we'll check again. I'll stop briefly again in just a few. I wanted to give you some data sources here, okay? So this doesn't exist in the abstract, right? You can go in and find this data on your own. Again, the purpose of this data deck was to give you educators who are very, very busy. And I've been there. I spent 12 years at community colleges, 3 different districts throughout Northern Arizona and Southern California. I specialize in rural economic development and tribal economic development. And so I get it. I understand you guys have several initiatives going on right now. And that's exactly why we put this data deck together. So you didn't have to go and source that information from many people. We give you BLS. The labor market information is coming from MZ. Your institutional data information is coming from Mr. Kelly Graves, I do believe. Was that the correct name? Here from your State Institutional Research Center. And they were very gracious with us getting the data that we needed. You'll see in just a few. And then we wanted to include ONET because ONET is a really, really good source for your industry credentials. REACH. The purpose of REACH, right, is racial equity in adult credentials and higher learning. So we're really, really focused on this industry credential thing, which I must tell you, as we've been moving through assisting other colleges with their grant applications at the federal and state levels, everybody's asking for this, really. It's about the alignment between education and competencies and those industry credentials. Nothing against community colleges, I think society is saying. It's just employers appreciate that extra step of validity, right? Of verification that what's being taught is verified through these national recognized industry credentials. For those of you who have never been on ONET, it's a fabulous site. Maybe we'll get a chance to go through it in the next session. I also gave you 2 other sources for LMI, just in case, this deck should be good for you for at least a year or 2. Basically, right? The information that's in there before it needs to be updated. But in case you ever need, your county general plans, every single county has a general plan. It's a participatory process. I've worked on these plans before. Every general plan has a workforce development element or an economic development and workforce development element. They have community derived goals. So you're not alone. You can already look at the alignment to those community derived goals. And furthermore, typically in the appendices, they have all your labor market information, because this, again, was not created in a vacuum. Your county general plans entail a lot of data, particularly for economic and workforce development. So they're going to be pulling the things like the top sectors and the top occupations, right? And then, of course, if your county or counties that you serve have a comprehensive economic development strategy, these you can find in your local economic development organization. They typically host these. These are U.S. Department of Commerce documents. They're 5-year documents, 5-year plans. Again, democratically derived. You will find in there priorities, community priorities that have already been identified. So once again, in terms of pathway design, you don't have to do this alone. You have a lot of partners in your community that are working within this field. And I will say, for those of you who have been educators for more than a couple of decades, you know darn well that really education was seen as kind of the other when it came to economic development. The priority for business retention, expansion, attraction, and small business development was infrastructure. It was all about infrastructure last century. And really 2008 is what shook everything up with regard to labor and the economy and economic growth. And so all of a sudden now, since 2008, really, and I'd say moving into, oh gosh, right before 2008 in the Great Recession, you started seeing this shift where firms were far more interested in what the labor market was going to hold. That was how they were making their decisions. And so that's the importance of educators in the modern era in 2022. Workforce, the labor market is the #1 thing that site selectors are looking for, that firms are looking for when it comes to expansion, okay? So we gave you this little slide here. This is kind of your reach process, right? This is what you guys have been doing. You're identifying, you're going to use this deck to help identify the high value non-degree credentials, right, that are in demand in our local economy. And we're going to do that by understanding the largest and highest paying occupations in the area. And then quantitative data always has to be matched with qualitative data. You're going to get out there, you're going to survey those employers. When we say survey, we don't mean you have to create a survey and you have to get it out there and get people to answer it. This can be anecdotal. You can go talk to your employers. You can talk to industry councils. The one thing I strongly encourage colleges to do is get a hold of your industry associations. Most every community will have a manufacturing industry council of some sort. If you don't know where they are, your workforce development board likely knows where they are, or your local economic development organization. You can kill multiple birds with the same stone by getting in touch with that industry organizations, because then you get all the employers together in one fell swoop, right? So you're going to verify the skills that the employers need, the industry credentials that they're really interested in. Remember, occupations are not the same. These are not our grandfather's occupations, right? All occupations are different. They're interdisciplinary, they're emerging. So we really, really need that contextualized validation. Then you're going to design your pathways, right? And the implementation strategies that clearly articulate a credential as you go approach. That's the real focus here for REACH, right? Remaining mindful of adult student demographics. And then you're going to measure, you're going to come up with some measurements, your metrics, right? You're going to determine the metrics that you're going to use to measure the effectiveness of your approach. And you're going to iterate this whole process over and over again. You know, the thing about educators is there's no dull moment, right? It's, again, not like last century where we're armchair theorists and the content that we developed is going to be good for the next 50 years. Everything's changing, even in general education, right? Even in those gen ed courses, we can contextualize exercises in those gen ed courses. Okay, so let's get into the data here a little bit. So the first section that you're going to find, your decks are broken out into 3 sections. The first is your socio-demographic data. The second is your LMI and economic data. And the third is your institutional data. So every deck is going to have decennial census population count in the top corner of that first slide. And then you're going to see your population. You're going to see it broken out by age, by race and ethnicity. And I also give you the percentage of that community in your total population. So for example, for Pueblo County, 2% of the population is Black and African American. You can see the majority of that community are 35 to 44 years old, which are actually spot on for non-traditional students in community colleges. Then you're going to see your Asian population, your American Indian and Native Alaskan. This also includes Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander. And then you're going to see your Hispanic and Latino demographics here, right? 30% of this population identifies as being of Hispanic or Latino descent. And again, I give you your county at the very beginning, so you know what you're looking at. So following age and demographics, so now we know who the people are, right? Who are those people that are over 25? And then we move in to two slides that I find to be the most helpful when it comes to equity analysis and equity gap analysis. The first one is this educational attainment by race, okay? So for every deck, in the notes of your deck, don't ignore those notes, we give you little prompts to think about and to explore conversation. So for example, in this deck, the prompt is in this county, adults of color have lower levels of education than white adults. Okay, so for 40% of Hispanic adults, we can see right over here, 40% of Hispanic adults, the highest level of education is a high school diploma compared to over here, we come over here, 31% of white adults, right? And they have, we see here a 24% attainment for white adults for some college or an associate's degree. We have a 26% attainment for a bachelor's, right? And an 11% attainment for an associate's again, compared over here to our Hispanic population where we see slightly less success levels, right? We're seeing 20% success for some college, 9% for an associate's and 13% for a bachelor's degree, okay? So this can start our analysis with regard to equity gaps. Then we go into population by race and unemployment by race. What I have done now in the recent iterations of these decks is I have added poverty level. So for those of you who are interested in a one deeper level of analysis, you now have my email. Many of you have my email and they're all on your decks too. My email's on the last slide of all your decks. Please let me know and I'd be happy to go ahead and pull that poverty rate from US Census for you and add it as a column here. So we have population by race and ethnicity here that you had seen before in the previous slides. You have your unemployment rate for the county, and then you have your unemployment rate by racial and ethnic cohort. These do not add up to 100, so don't even try. These are racial and ethnic categories alone. So this does not include 2 or more races, 3 or more races, okay? And again, we are combining race and ethnicity, even though anthropologists are telling us that it should all be ethnicity, and maybe one day we'll get there and we'll just be talking about ethnicity and not race anymore. For right now, US Census still designates it a difference between race and ethnicity. So here's where we're starting to look at, right? So we can see here that 10% of individuals in this county, of unemployed individuals in this county are Black and African American, yet they are only 2% of the total population. Those are the disparities that we want to start noticing, right? Hispanic and Latinos are 30% of the total population, 40% of the unemployment rate as of November of 2021. We notice the discrepancy with the white population, white alone. We have 65% of the total population is white, yet they are 83% of the race. But I will add this as a caveat, okay? Most federal grants right now, federal and state grants coming out of ARPA funds, are looking for you to address equity gaps in historically marginalized communities. So this REACH effort, right, is about historically marginalized communities. Are Hispanic and Latinos, Black and African American, American Indian and Native Alaskan, Asian Pacific Islander. If you live in an area where there is persistent poverty, that is now another category that you can use. Not necessarily for this REACH initiative, but I just wanted you to be aware that federal opportunities are allowing you to look at persistent poverty in white communities as well. If you'd like to discuss it more, happy to discuss it with you. But again, the lens here for the REACH initiative is going to be historically marginalized communities. Okay, any questions on data thus far? Nope. Does this make sense? How we start this equity gap analysis and start moving through it? Okay. All right, let's get to the next section of this deck. What's the economic context in our area? So I gave you a little slide here that starts to walk through what these indicators are, because I've realized in all my years in education, as faculty at community colleges, that, you know, we as educators, I mean, for the love of God, hey, I'll just ask you guys, how many of you took an economics class in undergrad? Anybody take an economics class in undergrad? Give me a thumbs up if you did. I got one. Anybody else? I got two. All right. I got three. I got four. Excellent. All right. We have 4 out of 25 people in this little session actually took an economics class. So I wanted to take a step back and help educators understand and remind themselves of their role in the economy. Again, it's a very different place than educators were accustomed to last century. Oh, do we have a question? Or was that just, I took a, Patricia, go ahead. Did you have a question? Nope, okay.
No, sorry.
No, you're fine, you're fine. So again, a different circumstance for educators. Educators used to be able to operate in a silo, right? We were able to do that. Economies weren't as complex as they are today. That is not the case by any means anymore. We are part and parcel of our local economy. Community colleges have this very unique situation where you are both an academic institute and a public sector agency that has a responsibility to be reflective of your community needs, right? So that's why we even care about our local economic context, okay? So the major indicators that I gave you, largest industry sectors, of course, we always talk about it, but what does it really mean as an educator? It's describing the demand for products and services in our region, but what is it also telling us? It's telling us that employers would appreciate a contextualized understanding of that sector, irrespective of the discipline that the student graduates from, okay? And what I mean by that is this. We have found through ACS research, right? And this is gonna be no surprise to most of you, that people get jobs in their economy, right? Yeah, they have their major. Yeah, they wanna focus on what they wanna do, but ultimately, people get jobs that are available where they live. Okay, we're not going to talk about virtual distance work right now. And remember, only 10% of people right now are still working virtually. But this is really important for general education studies as well as CTE, that you can go ahead and start to add context to things like psychology, business administration, sociology, all of those majors that turn into managers, that create the skill sets that make people managers. So it wouldn't help to have that context of your local economy in there in the top industry sectors. Then we give you largest occupations. So the largest occupations are telling us where the incumbent workers are that are underemployed right now, age 25 and above, and what field they're in and what level their skill is at, right? So it's telling us a little bit about our new marketplace and where we can attract these people. Then we have highest paying occupations that require some college or an associate's, okay? So this is describing the demand for specialized labor, right? These are the jobs that promote economic diversity and they create economic opportunity for our students. Combined with the next list that you're going to see, which is the bachelor's degree, the largest occupations requiring a bachelor's, that really is the best data to inform your pathways. And then finally, we give you some skills that's talking about common demands for talent. So let's go ahead and take a look at what these are going to look like, okay? So the first slide is going to be your largest industry sectors. At the bottom, you will see the county that it's for. The numbers in these boxes are the quantity of employees per sector, okay? And again, I made sure to note that the industries that pay livable wages, because this is about high quality jobs and livable wage jobs as well, are government, healthcare, and professional, technical, and scientific services. I do not include retail, trade, and accommodation and food services when I'm talking about highest sectors, right? Top sectors. Does that make sense? Because those are non-livable wage jobs. Those are low skilled jobs. And remember, When I showed you educational attainment earlier, there was a reason. Educational attainment is the #1 macroeconomic indicator for how much wealth a person is going to earn in their lifetime, right? And so we want to ensure that the credentials that are coming through community colleges are exactly that. They're adding value to the student in the labor market. I wanted to make one other note. Oh, please, Dr. Parscale. Oh, mute.
Sorry about that. I'm curious, where would behavioral health fit in this sector? Would that be under healthcare and social assistance?
Healthcare and social assistance is
Okay,
right
thank
where
you so
behavioral
much.
health is.
Okay,
Absolutely.
perfect. Thank
Yes.
you.
I want to make one other note too. Since some of your colleges are rural, and even in the urban areas, when you see this sector here, other services, okay, and it's usually a fairly, I noticed, I've done a lot of these decks nationwide, but I'm recalling that I'm seeing this a lot in particular areas in Colorado. What that notes is small business development, right? So those are your dog grooming businesses, your dry cleaners, your mortuaries, right? Anything having to do with small business. Even though we do not have a standardized credential for entrepreneurship, you have resource partners out there. And one of the things that you can do in your REACH project, in your REACH initiative, is you can determine, well, you know what, in rural areas, economic mobility really can be supported by entrepreneurial skills, right? Because in our rural areas, there's not as many jobs. So when you see the other services sector as being pretty large, you know there's a lot of small business development going on, right? And so across all fields of studies, you can help supplement that and contribute by adding mini credentials for entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial skills. How many, do any of these colleges, anybody on the line host a small business development center? Anybody? Nobody hosts an SBDC here in Colorado? That's on the line? Okay. SBDCs are a free resource through the Small Business Administration. They're located in every single county, and they are typically hosted by community colleges. Sometimes they will be hosted by nonprofits or economic development organizations. This is free one-on-one confidential assistance for anybody who signs up as a client. Again, supplemented, supported by the U.S. Small Business Administration. They often have resources that your faculty can tap into, your business admin faculty, if they want to do a small little micro-credential on entrepreneurship to help supplement, right? All these other programs and to add skills for people that are looking to start their own business, do a lot of contract work in the gig economy. That's your source. So look for those SBDCs. All you got to do is search for it in your county and you're going to come upon it. And again, free assistance for educators. It's free client assistance for small business development, but as an educator, you can call up, talk to the director, let them know that you're interested in starting a micro-credential for entrepreneurship. And I guarantee you, they're going to say, absolutely, how can we help? Oh, great. RRC Red Rock has their own entrepreneurial center. Perfect. So that's something that you could do for Red Rock. Again, for REACH, is it looked like you had an 8 credit hour, right? You had an 8 credit hour small business entrepreneurship credential, right? So you could take something like that and make it even, I know 8 credit hours, it's only 2 classes, but you can even pull out even more from that and do a mini micro credential that any student can take. That's 1 or 2 credit hours, right? And they can add it right into any of their disciplines. That would totally suffice for this initiative. And the goal of increasing economic mobility and racial equity in adult credentials. So great. I love that credential. All right, so let's move on. Over here, also, we give you your SIP to SOC code alignment. Even though we're going to get into jobs right now, wanted to make sure you had that. So just in case you're concerned about pathways, you're like, oh my gosh, not quite sure what occupations fit into what pathway. Here's a nice little reference for you too. All right, so let's get into occupations here. We just have a few more minutes here and I'm almost done. Occupations. We gave you the largest occupations that require some college or an associate degrees. We gave you a 5-year projection, 2020 to 2025, and we gave you 2020 median hourly earnings. Okay, so these are not entry-level earnings, these are median hourly. Everything color-coded in green is projected to grow, Anything color coded in orange is projected to decline. Again, take it with a grain of salt. If you're only seeing a handful of jobs decline, I wouldn't worry about it too much. It could be a perfectly viable pathway. If you're seeing 20, 30 job decline, projected decline, that's something to consider, okay? We also put in here your livable wage based on the MIT Living Wage Calculator. So you can very easily cross-reference what's going on with wages and the living wage. This living wage is for a single adult with no children. If you happen to know that your student composition is more single parents, right? Or even parents with kids, you can easily go right over here into your link, and MIT Living Wage Calculator will give you the variation of wages, of livable wages that one would need to earn in order to support their family at multiple different levels of marriage, children, etc. Okay. Then you're going to see my favorite slide, which is highest paying occupations that require some college or an associate degree. We have the same indicators here, green growing, orange not. But again, look here, it's just one job in each of these. So I would take that with a grain of salt. Clearly, electrical and electronic technicians are in demand. Okay. We give you the livable wage here again. Give you a little note at the bottom about what's growing, right? You see here electronics drafters. This is a great one too. Not a huge number of jobs, but I can tell you that skill set is something that's related to an industry credential that is certainly growing, like AutoCAD and SolidWorks, okay? So these are the jobs that you really want to look at. And then you go to this next slide. These are telling you all the largest jobs by bachelor's degree that require a bachelor's degree. So between your highest paying jobs here and your largest occupations requiring a bachelor, you can really start to align that pathway for equity, right? REACH is about ensuring that you have those industry credentials that are non-repetitive, they add value to the student in the labor market, and they're short-term, they're short in duration. Those three primary things that you want to remember, right? But that doesn't mean that they exist, again, in a vacuum. They should be part of this larger pathway that's leading not just to another credential, but ultimately through that associates and into the bachelor's to obtain that equity. And then finally, we have our skill sets. So these skills, the numbers that you're going to find beneath the skills, again, you're going to see this was about a year. We took about a year's worth of job postings, used EMSI, job postings analytics for the county. The county's listed as well. The frequency with which the skill has been posted is the number count you see here, okay? So what we're noticing in, for example, in this, and you'll see it in the notes, is that verbal and written communications, management and operations, Microsoft Excel and computer literacy, big demands. One of the things that we're noticing that can really increase equity is ensuring that students can articulate these skills in a job interview. And I'm not just talking about mock interviews. I'm talking about the social capital that's gained because you had a support system. You had the privilege and the luxury of a support system and parents or grandparents that helped you to articulate yourself growing up. A lot of issues that we see when it comes to equity gaps is really about the lack of social capital that leads to the ability for a person to effectively communicate, right? And so that's one of the things that both CTE and Gen Ed can really practice is how a student can articulate and effectively verbally communicate and written communication, communicate those skills that they have, right? So I've worked with welding faculty before to create a 350-word assignment just so the students get that practice of writing. And they're not, no offense, sitting in an English class studying Jane Eyre, right? Which has no interest for them, but they are writing about something that is very much of interest to them, right? And that's really 21st century andragogy and pedagogy is it's got to be personalized. It's got to be productive, right? It's got to be participatory, those three things, participatory, personalized, and productive. And then finally, in our last minute, I'm going to close out with the last section, which is what's going on in your institution. So again, I mentioned earlier, we had assistance from your statewide institutional research office. And so we were able to obtain your credit enrollment and your adult school enrollment. Unfortunately, if you see a blank column, that means that there was no data available for that. But it can certainly show you what you want to include in the future, right? So the fact that this is not unique to Colorado, this is not unique to this college. Nationwide, community colleges are starting to get become more aware of the fact that they need to study their non-credit enrollment, that it's not just something sitting off to the side, that non-credit enrollment is actually very much a pathway into economic opportunity and equity. So we always want to look at, we gave you enrollment, who's being served, and we gave you completion. Okay. And we always want to look, we ask specifically for your adult school IET and CTE awards, right? We want to look at what's happening. What are the populations that are being represented in their completions? Are there's more of certain populations completing adult schools versus credit bearing programs, right? And then finally, in the end, we give you a nice glossary of terms. Nice definition so that you can remember it as you move forward, because there's a lot of things going on here. And right earlier when I said the 3 things to remember, right here at the bottom, stackable credential programs. It's repeated right here, right? They should have labor market value, be of short duration, and be part of a structured program that is non-repetitive. Okay, it's 10 o'clock on the dot. I'm going to leave it there for a moment. Are there any questions? Have you appreciated your deck? Is there something missing from your deck that you'd like to see? Is there anything interesting that you noticed about the data that you'd like to know more about, right? That's what this is about. What do you notice and what more do you want to know? Okay. As long as it was helpful, that's all I care about. As long as you did not waste this hour and this has been helpful. Good, good, good. Again, you have my contact on the back of that deck. Happy to continue the conversation with your college. Obviously, we're still working on some of the colleges. So happy to talk about that poverty level as well for those of you who are interested. Okay, good, good. I'm very grateful that a lot of people had a chance to get their decks, especially since you didn't have them before. Okay, you're welcome. Excellent. Excellent. I'll just let you, we'll let people leave and slide back in. You're welcome to stay with us. I'm going to show a slightly different in this next session. All right, I'm going to give it just about 3 more minutes. We'll start at 10:05 in this next session. Amy, everything I do is hands-on. So yes, we're gonna be doing some stuff. We're gonna go through these data decks, and I have another little exercise that might be helpful for you guys. All right.
Thanks. I love hands-on. The only reason I was asking is I'm with the system office.
Okay.
So we didn't have a deck per se for us. And it was why I left your session, went to another one. Will this one be, I would love to be in the session. I like data. So
yeah, so we're not gonna I'll talk about the decks a little bit, but only insofar as the exercise that I have for you guys, if you want to participate, which is simply a tool, a decision-making tool called the Impact Feasibility Matrix.
Excellent. All right, I shall stay then.
Okay, all right.
Thanks, Alexandria. I didn't want you to think I left because I didn't like the session. Actually, it was interesting, but I realized that I didn't have a deck and my
No problem.
colleague was here.
Yeah, no problem. Amy, did I, if you left then, I probably didn't send you, why don't I send you a sample deck?
My boss sent me one, actually.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And
pardon me, I have a little rescue kitty and that's what you might hear in the background. So Monday, well, how can I help you?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I love the kitty. So I'm sorry, Alexandria, I might have missed this, but we don't need to have access to another deck for this next session?
No. Yeah, everybody, I'd still be working on them if I created more than one deck for everybody.
I appreciate the work. Very insightful. Thank you very much.
No problem. Again, it's hard enough being an educator, right? And then this idea of data-informed practice, how do you find the time to gather the information from all of those data sources, right?
And I think it's assumed that we already know, just even the basics, and then to dig in for this, it's, we're learning and working at the same time. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but this is very helpful. I really appreciate it.
Good. I actually lecture with the other Alex, and we go to colleges and we do 6-hour sessions on this stuff because it's per my earlier questions, how many people actually took an econ class and let alone took it in the last decade, right? So it's good for us to remind ourselves that we're part of this economy. We're not alone. And, this is the information that has to drive our decisions simply because it's a more complex era. It's just not as easy as it used to be in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I'll say I appreciate that too, as having taken economics in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I find that it is amazing to me how many folks don't think of the macroeconomic environment, particularly in higher education. And when we're talking about adult learners, how many of the baby boomers are starting to, the University of Phoenix thrived on baby boomers. Yeah. That's what grew them so large. And now that baby boomers are starting to retire, we can't expect to have that same market share.
Oh, absolutely. Not to mention, goodness, not only are we extremely interested and engaged in the learning and the traditional students, equity is now a huge part of the conversation. And furthermore, there's just more competition and not enough resources for community colleges. So where's the market come from? If our population's declining and the traditional age student coming out of high school not only has more opportunities or options, I should say, for credentials and learning and movement up the ladder, including day trading, where's our marketplace going to come from?
Absolutely. And I feel like the accreditors have done a disservice to the community colleges with their faculty qualifications shifting. And there was a time where one expected the community college instructors and faculty to have more hands-on experience and not be required to have master's degrees, for example, or doctorates. And I know I've been pleading with HLC for a while, and I wish I had more cohorts fighting for that they shift some of the requirements for community colleges and allow community colleges to have more work experience than our four-year partners, because quite honestly, it's shifted what a community college actually stands for and is. And the beauty of the community college used to be that you expected to go and have somebody there who actually worked in the field. And it's not always the case. We're under the same scrutiny as the four-year partners.
Absolutely. And it really is, it's ironic, right?
Right.
considering the mission of the community colleges.
For sure. And sorry, I know I've taken over the
No,
conversation.
you're fine.
It's
You're
always
fine.
been fascinating to me ever since I came into the community college systems, but that shift has happened as well. And it makes it hard for us to find faculty and differentiate ourselves from our other institutions. And I just think it's a shame.
Absolutely. Yeah, we could go on all day about this, quite honestly. And I'll talk to you about unions too. And I'm a promoter of collective bargaining.
Oh yeah, that'll be interesting to
I
hear.
love it, but man, education as an industry sector, and I'm in California now. I spent a couple decades in Arizona, and coming to California, it was really it's a different animal over here. And it's exacerbated. Those issues that you're speaking of are absolutely exacerbated in this state. And it's a shame because that's taking the focus away from the student. Yeah, exactly. A lot of times it's about job security instead of about public service, which is really what we're here for at community colleges, So with that, it's 10:10 a.m. And so it's an absolute pleasure speaking with you, Amy. And we're going to get into a couple of things right now. So I see some people stayed with me from the last session. Thank you so much, Bo and Mundi. Let's see if we can start. I see Kelly's still here too. And let's see if for those of you who are new, I just want to make sure you don't need your data deck necessarily, but if you find me speaking of something that you're like, what is she talking about? Please put your email in the chat with your college and I will get your data deck to you, because although we're not going to be reviewing it in full in this session, it is something that I'm going to refer to just in case you need it. Okay, clearly we have somebody already. Kathy from CCCD, yeah? Okay, so that's Community College of Denver, right?
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay, let me get your data deck over to you. Pardon me one moment, guys. Let me just do that. Colorado and Community College of Denver. There you are. All right, that's on its way to you. Oh, we got somebody else from Pikes Peak, CCD. Oh man, I just missed it. Sorry, James. That's actually what I did last session is I combined everybody together so that you guys were all in one email. Give me one moment, everybody. Just want to make sure we got another one from Pikes Peak. Let's see here. Mr. Chavez, what community college are you with?
Pueblo Community College.
You're at Pueblo. Okay, but you would prefer that email?
Yes, please.
The @ME?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm on the advisory council. That's why I have a separate.
Okie dokies. So, but I'm going to be sending you Pueblos. Oops, and I'm sorry, I just forgot Pikes Peak. That's what I was doing. Pikes Peak, there you go. Okay. And then we had one more, Mr. Chavez, and you are getting Pueblos. Right. Again, pardon me. And my rescue kitty cat. All right, I think we got everybody their decks now. All right, so let's continue the discussion about data. I'm going to share with you a couple of things. What this session is going to be about is not so much going through the data decks as I did last session. We're going to talk a little bit more about economic indicators and the role of the educator in particularly in the economic system and pathways. And then I'm going to show you a tool that might be helpful, because let me get a show of hands here. How many of you guys think that your school is really, really good about talking about stuff in pilot programs, but you can't seem to sustain much? Does that sound familiar, that we talk a lot as educators, right? We got all sorts of ideas, right? We have all sorts of plans, and oftentimes we identify our initiative before we've even seen the data, right? Because we're here, we're on the ground, and we see what's going on, right? And then when it comes to initiatives like REACH, where you have to determine a pathway, a credential, you got to get moving on that train, it can get really hard to narrow that focus amongst everybody's idea. So that's the tool I have for you guys to practice with today, that you can practice, that you can take back to your campus. You can use it there. Again, you have my information, and I'll just put it in the chat real fast, just so you have it, in my email address, because we do offer technical assistance. So for those of you who don't know me, why don't I start there? I'm Dr. Alexandria Wright. I'm with WestEd. We are a nationwide nonprofit, about 700 people. I'm part of this tiny, tiny little unit here called the Center of Economic Mobility. We're about 20 people large, and I am the lead for economic, labor market, and education data. I spent about a dozen years at community colleges, running economic and workforce development divisions. So I'm very familiar with the intricacies of educators and community colleges, and particularly the lack of resources that community colleges have, particularly in rural areas. I also spent a couple of years at the U.S. Small Business Administration, and overseeing adult education programs and entrepreneurial programs. So I do have that kind of specialty as well, if you have any questions. So let's hop into some macroeconomic discussion here about pathways. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And then we'll get into this kind of impact feasibility matrix that I want to share. So I created this slide because we wanted to talk about, again, the role of the educator in the economic system, because it can seem so abstract, right? We're busy, we're over here, we have our funding formulas, right? We have our student issues, which are becoming more and more exacerbated, right? Student hunger, homelessness, right? Not to mention the dangers that are out there right now. And so we have all this stuff going on, and so it can escape us that we are actually part of this larger community and this larger system. So I gave you a couple macroeconomic indicators here. And they're not just any macroeconomic indicators. These are the major indicators that all fiscal and monetary policy derives from at the federal level. So the first one is maintain high employment. That is a #1 macroeconomic indicator, macroeconomic goal, that Congress and the Federal Reserve constantly look at. So how does education fit into that macroeconomic goal? Well, in order to maintain high employment, we have to ensure that students leave with skills that make them more valuable in the labor market, right? It seems obvious, but we don't really, amidst, like I said, all of these other things that we're dealing with in this era, it's hard to come back and focus on that. That really the role of the educator in their local economy is to ensure that students have those skills that make them more valuable in the labor market. The second macroeconomic indicator that is a heavy, heavy goal. I'm sorry, I keep saying indicator. It's a goal. Second macroeconomic goal is to maintain high economic growth. Economic growth is defined by GDP in this country, real GDP to be specific, right? So that's our gross domestic product. It's the final value of all output for all goods and services in the country. What do educators have to do with maintaining high economic growth, right? We have to ensure that learning includes up to the minute skills and competencies. And again, nothing new for you guys, but you see this little arrow I put over here? This is where, again, talking about the REACH initiative, as well as any type of federal funding announcements that have been coming out lately, the expectation is that community colleges are using this model of industry recognized credentials. And so in the REACH initiative, your charge, right, is to identify pathways that or identify demands in your economy and then verify the industry credentials that employers want, and then integrate those industry credentials into your learning, right? Now I'll pause here for just a second because I want to talk about a methodology for increasing that access. Industry credentials often require a testing center. Sometimes your instructor, like your welding instructor, right, or your AutoCAD instructor, SolidWorks instructors, they can be certified to go ahead and give those tests in the classroom with the students. So the AWS certification for welding, right, the instructor is allowed to do that, allowed to go ahead and test students out. But for all these other types of industry credentials that may exist, they have to go through a testing center. And one of the biggest inequities that we're finding, one of the biggest gaps that we're finding in equity is in community colleges, faculty will go, oh, I'm prepping you for this industry credential, and then they leave it at that. And there's no access to the testing center. There's no discussion about how much it's going to cost. So one of the approaches that you can use in the REACH initiative is enhancement of your testing center. Pearson VUE testing does a lot of the testing out there for industry credentials, such as Microsoft Office. I myself use this up at Coconino Community College. We went ahead and became Pearson VUE certified. We had to put a little money into the testing facility, right, at a side campus, but oh my gosh, it opened it up to students being able to come in and test for their industry credentials. And we were even able to find some funding to subsidize those costs for those exams, right? So you're increasing access. And then finally, okay, so we talked about maintaining high employment and maintaining high economic growth as two primary economic indicators. And then finally, this is not an economic indicator or an economic goal, I should say, but enforcing equity is a goal of our community and our society. So we have to ensure that barriers within our institutional systems and structures are permanently removed. And I'm sure you guys are hearing a lot about that recently. So those of you who were with me last session, you're going to find this next 2 slides somewhat familiar. So when we're talking about career pathways, we need 3 things for data. We need our local economic and labor market information. We need our real-time information, and we need to understand what's going on at our adult schools, our own colleges, and our universities to design these pathways, right? So your local labor market information, economic and labor market information, basically provides you with data on high demand jobs in the region that lead to a living wage, the industry sectors that are hiring, and the career pathways that are going to result in economic mobility for your students, okay? The real-time labor market information is slightly nuanced. It actually has to do with job postings and skills, right? So it provides information on skills demands that's curated from job postings, information on those skills, competencies, and the frequency of job postings per occupation. It gives you a good idea of what's going on with supply and demand for that particular occupation. And then finally, when you're thinking about these non-degree credentials for your REACH initiative, they should be of short duration. They should have labor market value by themselves, adding to the student's earning power, and they need to be part of a structured pathway that's not repetitive. Meaning, some colleges have a tendency, they'll start something out in non-credit, right? And they'll have the student repeat it in credit. So we want to be non-repetitive here. When they come out of adult school from an IET program, they need to just continue on that pathway, not have to repeat another class. So this is a slightly different slide than I showed in the last session, but it has the same indicators. You have your unemployment by race and ethnicity. So this is the thing about data. When we're doing equity gap analysis and we're trying to best understand identify a target population, right? An underserved, historically marginalized target population, as well as our pathways, we have to use intersectional data points. So that means it's not just good enough to look at unemployment of your county. And it's not just good enough to look at educational attainment by age, right, or gender. We have to look at it by race and ethnicity. So in each college's data deck, you will find unemployment by race and ethnicity in your counties that you sit in, okay? You're gonna find educational attainment by race and ethnicity in your counties. And then the one thing I didn't include for Reach, but I'm more than happy to put that in there for you. I started in my recent iterations. We came up with this idea for data decks last fall. So I'm on my third iteration now, and they're getting better every time. But I do include poverty rates by race and ethnicity. And that again comes from US Census. All of the data included in your data decks, most all of it, is federally approved sources. What I mean by that is it's coming from US Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's coming from US Census, ACS data, and it's also coming from EMSI, which isn't necessarily a federally approved source, but they do derive their data from Bureau of Labor Statistics and Bureau of Economic Analysis as well, okay? So then we have our socioeconomic data up here, and then let's get into our industry data. Largest sectors describe the demand for products and services in your region, and thus the demand for contextualized skills. Those of you who were with me last session know that I stayed on this point for just a moment, basically emphasizing the fact that contextualization of both Gen Ed and CTE adds value to the student in the labor market, right? Just a little exercise, one little exercise based on your top industry sectors in a sociology class, in a political science class, in a business admin class, can really make the student a more robust and competitive participant in the local labor market. Largest occupations requiring some college or an associate's tells where the incumbent workers are and the demand and the level of skills they possess. Your highest paying occupations that require some college and associates describes the demand for specialized labor. These jobs promote economic diversity and create resiliency and economic opportunity for your students. If you combine, most community colleges look at largest occupations. That's fine if you're looking to identify underemployed workers, incumbent workers that you want to upskill. But if you're looking to build pathways, and you want to identify the demand for particular meta majors and pathways, you want to look at the highest paying occupations requiring some college or an associate's combined with the largest jobs requiring a bachelor's. Both of those slides are in your data decks. And then finally, most posted skills, again, helping your students fill the gap in social equity that they may have because they didn't have the luxury or privilege of parents, right? That had the time to read with them, or grandparents. We find that the ability to actually articulate one's skills is a huge gap in social capital. And I'm not just talking about mock interviews. The students have got to practice reading and writing. This is what employers are looking for. Okay, so I'm going to stop with that there. Okay, and I'm going to share another screen, and we're going to get into practicing this for a little bit. And some of you may have used this tool before. Has anybody used Jamboards thus far during COVID? Did your college use Jamboards at all from Google Sheets? Okay, nothing like that. All right. So keeping in mind that you guys have your own data decks, I'm going to put a little link into the chat box here, and we're going to learn how to do this together. Okay, Sam, can you please put in your email address and I'll send it to you right now. And I'm assuming it's Pikes Peak. Okay, so see everybody, I put that little link in there and that's going to take you to a Jamboard. So I'm going to send Sam over his data deck and I'm going to join you guys in the Jamboard right now. If you go ahead and click on that link, it's an interesting little tool. And hold on one second, because I'm going to teach you how to use that tool. So let me just get this data deck over to Sam here, paste. And it was Pueblo. Okay, thank you.
It also said we needed to do a request to get in.
Oh, really? Okay, let me go into I wasn't quite sure if we were going to need that. I was trying to make it open source, but I guess it didn't work out that way. All right, I'm getting all your requests, so let me accept. Okay, open. Okay, add sharing restriction. Okay. Okay, editors can change the viewers and commenters can see and note. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, I'm gonna send. Okay, let me see if I can get everybody in here now. So Amy, are you able to get in there now?
I am looking, hang on.
Okay, sorry, I should have been a little.
I am.
All right, cool. So I did it right. Okay, and I'm gonna keep moving through everybody. Open shares. Excellent. So all of you guys should be able to get in there in just one more second. Okay, Armando, okay. And one more. Okay. Let's see, I think Maria needs to get in there too. Okay. All right, I think I have everybody in there. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to walk through how to use this tool. So again, everybody has their data decks. And we have one more. Hey, Sam, can you send it to Maria real fast? The one I just sent you.
Sure.
Thank you. Forward that off to Maria de la Cruz. Thank you so much, because I want to keep us moving here.
Sure.
And let me share my screen. All right, so this is what we're using. We're using the impact feasibility matrix. So again, as I started this session, talking about, we as educators, I remember my first boss said, educators can study the eraser off of pencil. And he was a retired cop. So he came in retirement and he was pretty shocked at how educators discuss things. And hey, it's a good thing. We're exploratory, we're deep, right? We want to ask a lot of questions, but unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't permit us to get to a defined and consensus-driven solution when we have a time frame. So that's what this tool is about, okay? So an impact feasibility matrix is designed to explore conversation, to get the conversation going. So you basically want to generate as many different ideas from as many different perspectives as possible. And then you're going to narrow them based on feasibility and impact, two primary indicators, right? And we're going to try them and try them and try them again. So at your own college, this is kind of your steps. You're going to create what you saw right there in the Google Sheets that I gave you the link for, right? And you can do this in a classroom. You can do this on a dry erase board. You can do this. We do this on the big Post-it sheets when we go out to community college campuses and do our data-informed practice, right? And you just create your second quadrant there, right? You have your impact and your feasibility on the two different axes. And then everybody puts up ideas, okay? But then after you've generated as many different ideas as possible, and you don't have to put those ideas necessarily on the chart, you can just put them someplace else on a wall, then everybody has to select one or two ideas and stick them on that impact feasibility matrix. And those are the ones you end up developing or trying. So essentially the matrix ends up looking like this, right? Anything that's high on towards the y-axis, right, is going to be high impact, low feasibility, low impact, low feasibility here, right by the origin, right? High impact, high feasibility is way out here, and then low impact, high feasibility. And it's just an easy way to try to understand what we can do in a short period of time for achieving the objectives that is our charge, right? So again, we're going to chart each idea based on its relative feasibility and impact. So we're talking about feasibility within your institute, right? So if it's credit for prior learning, right? Prior learning assessment. How many of you guys have credit for prior learning on your campus? Raise your hands. Anybody have credit for prior learning or prior learning assessments on their campuses? I see one. All right, James has one. All right, Mark. Okay, excellent. So we have a couple. Credit for prior learning is an avenue that the REACH initiative is suggesting as a potential system change that can increase racial equity in adult credentials. Okay, so you take those students that are coming out of existing jobs or the military, and you run them through either a portfolio process or you test them out, and they essentially get credit for that exam. Now, it's pretty high impact, right? You basically are allowing a student to move through a process towards an associate's without having to spend 16 weeks in a class, right? They can, like I said, portfolio or test it out. Now, high impact, but how feasible it is that for your campuses, considering how many people are going to need to be involved. You're going to need faculty to create the tests or review the portfolios. You're going to need a non-credit workshop sometimes if you're going to do portfolio development to lead the students through writing the portfolio. You're going to need your registrar there, right? The registrar, you're going to have to work with the registrar, how you're going to transcript the CPL or the PLA, right? Coming out. You're going to need to work with fiscal services. Are you going to charge for it, right? So right there, we have almost a handful of people. So even though credit for prior learning assessment might be a really interesting idea for you guys to develop with high impact, the feasibility of you getting it done within the next 5 months before fall semester starts, which is the goal here. Gosh, we're not even at 5 months anymore, right? We're at 3 months before you guys need to implement stuff. May be pretty low. So this might be over here, high impact, low feasibility it might be where you put that, okay? So again, that's kind of the idea of impact and feasibility. What's the impact going to be for your goal to hit those target demographics, those students, increase their value in the labor market, right? How feasible is it for you to get it done at your institute? The role of the matrix is to guide the conversations, okay? So I'm going to now share my screen one more time, and we're going to go over to that Google Sheets, and we're going to use this together. Get back on my page. There we go. All right. Okay, so everybody's with me in here. I see everybody's little faces up there. Excellent, excellent. I don't think anybody doesn't have access, so I think we're good to go. So this is how you use a Jamboard, okay? You come over here to the left-hand side, and this is, again, really cool, particularly understanding that a lot of people aren't meeting in person anymore. And if your campuses are covering a large geographic territory, you might not be able to get faculty and deans to all of your meetings in person. So this is a really nice way to do this virtually. So you're going to come over here and you're going to click right here. When you hover above this kind of empty square here, it says sticky note. You're going to click on that sticky note. You can choose whatever color you want, okay? And you go ahead and you write your idea down on there. So I'm going to write enhance testing services to provide greater access to industry credentials. I can spell it right? Okay. And once I press save, okay, I then cancel out and you'll see the sticky note came over here. And now I have this little note here. So if I was at a college, and like the ones, the couple of gentlemen raised their hands that, oh, well, that was PLO. Well, almost all colleges have some testing services. So if I was at a college that had a pretty decent, testing services center, and all you really needed to do is get Pearson VUE certified, you're going to need your testing services director or another dean or somebody in administration to contact Pearson VUE, get the contract, and schedule the review of your testing center so that they can make sure that, you know, there's somebody sitting there with a partition and they can see all the students and through the glass, and that all students are a certain amount of inches apart from one another and they have their barriers. And so that's pretty high impact. and fairly feasible. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just drag it over and I'm going to stick it in the middle of my board. Okay. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do now is, based on the discussions you've had at your community colleges and consideration of the data in your data decks, right? Why doesn't everybody come over here, grab 1, 2, 3 Post-its, write some ideas and drag them onto the matrix. And we can all kind of explore these together right now and get a feel for it. So go ahead and feel free to start. Excellent. And put them wherever you think it should be on the matrix. And I'll go ahead. If you ever wanted to delete something, you just right click on it and delete and it's gone. So go ahead, grab a Post-it. Does everybody see that? Remember, grab a Post-it. You can change the color of your Post-it too, depending on your schools. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Anybody else want to put something up on the Jamboard? All right, excellent. I'll give you guys a couple minutes here.
I'm sorry, this is Maria. I'm not sure how to grab a Post-it.
Oh, sure. So you can see my screen. You see my little arrow here? Come over to the left, and on your little menu here, you'll see the 4th icon down is your sticky note. Go ahead and click it, and it'll pop that up for you. And then when you're done writing on it, you press save. It'll pop up another sticky note, and you can just cancel it out, and you'll see your sticky note sitting up there, and you can drag it around. All right, so we're getting some cool stuff. Okay. Cohort students by pathway. Ooh, that's an interesting one, right? Because a lot of the evidence is showing that they provide one another with a support system, right? As they move through their credentials. Now, remember, REACH is about your charge is to create, not to create. I take that back. Your charge is to ensure that you have some stackable credentials, and you're going to adjust a couple of things in your institute to make those credentials more accessible and improve that student success, right? So for example, some of the things that I've done with colleges is I took a quick gander at their college catalog, right? That right there can be an issue, right? College catalogs are now so full of policy and procedure at the beginning that students often can't find their way to the actual academic programs, right? So, you know, your initiative for REACH could be as simple as, hey, we already offer welding certificates. We know that welding is an occupation that's in demand in our area. We're going to create a new type of advertisement sheet that shows the credential pathway to students the minute they walk through the door, so they know where they're headed. Another thing that I've been doing with colleges is taking a look at their classes. So for example, almost every community college has communication classes that focus on Microsoft Word and word processing and Microsoft Excel. When you look at the skills demands from the job postings for every region, you will notice that digital literacy, computer literacy, Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel are high demand skills. And that's not just for administrators. Manufacturing, don't forget manufacturing, 1/3 of all jobs in manufacturing are actually back office staff. And furthermore, even the people on the floor in manufacturing plants are using some sort of MRP, ERP, AKA a Microsoft Excel sheet to track inventory. Shoot, agriculture. Supervisors out in ag lands are using cell phone apps that are based off of Microsoft Excel to keep inventory, right? So it could be as simple as taking a class that already teaches it, and on top of it, adding the Microsoft Office Specialist exam that you now offer at your testing center. So see how easy that was? The class already existed, the competencies are there. The faculty just needs to align it completely to the Microsoft Office exam. And now when the student is done, they get their college credit on their way towards their certificate or associates, but they also can come over here to your testing services and get that industry credential. You can do that for photovoltaic, maintenance and design and installation. You can do it for AutoCAD and SolidWorks, your computer-aided drafting, which goes across all industry sectors now. All right, so let's see what everybody has here written down. Okay, so we have different classroom modalities, less days with longer hours, every other weekend. I like it, high impact, but probably low feasibility at this point in time in the Institute. Again, remembering that we are in May, right? Oh my goodness. So you have, gosh, if your classes start in August, you have less than 3 months to get this going. I believe you have to start advertising your industry credentials by June. For the REACH initiative. Let's look at some other ones. Outreach to potential students based on DOL data around their current earnings versus potential earnings. Oh, that's an interesting one. So you're really focusing on the underemployed. It looks like it's high impact, kind of in the middle of feasibility there. Interesting. Creating micro credentials pathways aligned to industry credentials, a little more high feasibility and high impact. It's located in that top quadrant here. And like I just described to you, you probably already have classes with content that aligns with industry credentials, and you're just not testing for them on your campus. So that right there, I know REACH didn't offer you a lot of funding, but it's enough to probably enhance your testing services and maybe make some new material for yourself, for those students. Let's see, we have some, let's see, student mentor or partner. That's a good one. High feasibility, not so great at impact, not super high impact, but it could conceivably help. And it's something that you could get going by fall. Absolutely. Let's see over here, expand testing services hours for a wider range of time for adult learners. I love that one. Again, super high impact and high feasibility, right? Whoever put that there for your college, if you can get it rocking and rolling, I suggest starting now. You know, check out those industry credentials where the faculty can go ahead and test in the classroom, like SolidWorks, AutoCAD, and welding, and then figure out those credentials that relate to like Microsoft Office exam or IT networking for CompTIA exams, right? Those all need to be happening inside a testing services area through Pearson VUE. So great idea. Let's look at some more. Let's see. Develop more competency-based methods of earning PLA credits, such as badging. Micro badging is absolutely viable in the REACH initiative. One thing you want to make sure of though, so this is kind of high impact. It looks like it was low feasibility for this college. But one thing that you want to make sure of is if you develop badging, right? You want to ensure that your employers are recognizing your badges, right? So this post-it, this little sticky is kind of talking about two things. We want to increase the methods of earning PLA credits. So that could be maybe beyond just testing out, you actually offer the portfolio option, right? Where you have faculty, you give them a stipend and they'll review the portfolio and they'll say, yep, this person passed out of Business Admin 101 and Business Admin 102 and management, right? And then you have another idea in here like badging. So if you do micro-credential badging, the one thing you just want to make sure, like I said, is that you're validating the competencies through the skills data that you're getting, right? And through ONET, and that you're taking it to employers and you're saying, are these indeed the competencies you want? And if so, if we create a badge, will you commit to at least first interviews for any student who walks through your door with this badge? That's how I used to do it with employers, to guarantee that entry into that job, that opportunity, and the recognition. Remember, the thing about community colleges is they're great, but employers, you know, insofar as recognizing what's actually taught, they're not very familiar with that. So that's why they prefer these credentials. Maria, go ahead. You have a question.
Yes, I actually wrote that one about the badging. And
oh, please.
So my thought is, and I brought this up with the CCCS PLA committee, we are in the process of aligning industry credentials with credits, but not every industry credential meets all of the competencies for a course. And so if we could, as a system, develop badges for modules that would meet that deficit, then the students are getting the credit for the course. And then which would lend towards a credential certificate or so on that everybody acknowledges. So it's not so much just the badging for the sake of the employer recognizing it, but to meet the deficit so they can get that PLA credit.
I see what you're saying. That's interesting. So the point of the credentials is that it's short term. So what you're saying is there's some credentials that we cover the material in a class, but the class is 16 weeks and we cover more than just that industry credential. How do we reconcile that for the student? Is that what you're getting at?
Correct. So that, a student may walk in with, an industry credential, but it meets 80% of a course competencies.
I
course's competencies instead of 100%. And so it doesn't equate to, to them earning the course. And so if we could identify industry credentials and develop modules where they can get the credential, the industry credential and a badge, and then they get the course.
Interesting. So the badge would be
the deficit,
the missed. I see what you're saying. That's a really novel idea. Very interesting, because then you're looking at it the other way. You're like, hey, let's get you on that pathway to that associate's and that bachelor's, right?
Or even a certificate that maybe would at least have them work ready.
I love that. Well, so in that instance, yeah, you don't need the employer review, right? Because it's your own internal faculty review. So you can conceivably allow them to PLA out for, like you said, a proportion, 80% of maybe what's in that course. And then the faculty derives the last 20% and says, this is what you need to know. You have 4 weeks to learn it. I'll help you if you need.
It's not necessarily internal by institution, but internal for the entire system, the Colorado Community College system. So that makes it a lot friendlier for the student.
That makes sense. I really like that. That's interesting. What Maria just mentioned is exactly the contemplation that is required by this REACH initiative and is required by the modern era in 2022 with the complexities that we're dealing with. Go ahead, Mr. Chavez, Abel.
Yes, we in our community, we suffer from a large number of students that don't have a high school diploma or GED. So the question I would have is, how do we accelerate that student to get their GED and be higher education eligible?
Sure. So I'm going to stop sharing right there, and I'm going to share with you a different slide deck that I have, which is everybody's data decks. And I don't know if you got a chance to get through this. I'm going to scroll all the way to the third section of the data decks, which is the institutional knowledge, right? Where are people getting an education? So to your question, Mr. Chavez, one of the ways that we're looking at data now intersectionally is looking at both our credit, non-credit, and adult school enrollment. So if you have a big issue with a lack of high school equivalency in the area, okay, and this happens to be Pueblo. I think I did send you Pueblo. Yes. That's the one you asked for. Yeah. So you want to start by analyzing this right here. What's going on with your different races and ethnicities in terms of your adult school enrollment? One of the things I did split it into in the completion. So this is enrollment and then this is completion, because this is where you should be getting those students from, right? So partnerships with your adult schools and your adult education schools is absolutely essential when it comes to filling equity gaps. This is where all those students that you're talking about that might be getting their GED, this is where they are sitting. One of the things that I did, I wasn't able to do it in Colorado because there wasn't a differentiation out of the institutional data, but I actually separate adult school IET awards from adult school GED HSE, high school equivalency. So you can see exactly what's happening with regard to graduates in your local area from your local adult schools for GED and HSE And you want to make sure that you're grabbing those students and ensuring that they understand that the community college has what they are wanting. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, I'm really more interested in those students that are not identified. That's assuming that these are not identified without a GED. Some people just drop out and they just get lost in the system.
Yeah.
So how do we identify those folks so that we can do the exact thing that you are recommending?
Yeah. So that's where your community-based organizations come in. So, you know, I'll go ahead and share this with you guys too. I have a little slide here that talks about pathways. There it is. So what you're talking about, Mr. Chavez, is the pathway system. So here in these notes, I didn't include this slide in your deck, but I'm happy to send this over to you. Our charge as community colleges is identifying the career pathways, figuring out these novel ideas that you're putting into the impact feasibility matrix, the enhancement strategies to accelerate movement. But thirdly, we must include the career pathway system, AKA the workforce system, which is that combination of partnerships, resources, funding, common metrics, accountability metrics, our community-based organizations. That's where you're going to find those people. You're going to find them through partnerships with Goodwill Industries. You're going to find them through your partnership with your AJC / One Stop, which is the unemployment office, right? You might find them in your adult literacy programs who just dropped out and maybe they want to go back just for a little bit of reading. Those are usually at your libraries. So when we talk about career pathways, it's not just the LMI data. It's not just the equity data for the socioeconomics. And it's not just the institutional data. It's all three of those plus the community-based organizations and the actual workforce system partnerships to find those people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I would recommend. Having worked in rural areas, those people are going to be, you're going to be able to identify them through your community-based organizations. They could be ethnic-based organizations. They could be something like Goodwill Industries. They could be your local library, like I said, literacy program. Shoot, they could be your food pantries. I did a lot of work on getting notices out for participatory processes at the city level, making sure that we were including lower income families and households by just going to churches, quite frankly. But again, you have to have, one of the things Reach can do, and again, you're going to have to do this by June, you have to get new marketing material out for whatever pathway you've decided, whatever credential. So this might be an opportunity to redesign some material that you can post in these areas with these community-based organizations at the churches, at Goodwill, where people are going, in addition to digital media, but you can make it a little different, right? It's not always about come to school and get an associate's. Maybe it's a tagline that says, what keeps you up at night? You know, let us help you. You know, how about a livable wage job in whatever pathway it is you're choosing, right? Maybe it's specific to that, but that should help you to find the people that you're looking for, Mr. Chavez.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions on this? Let's see, I'll go back to our Jamboard, see if there was, there it is. Did you guys enjoy this? Was this kind of helpful, a helpful decision-making process?
Yes.
Good, 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 good. We have some good ideas up here. You're welcome to keep this Jamboard and take a screenshot of it, or if it's something that's interesting to you. Like I said, happy to help you create one of these in the future. I just find that it's a nice way to get to the nitty gritty of what you got to do. Sometimes you got to get there. You can't afford to talk about it anymore. And it's that feasibility and impact. Those are the two indicators that you really want to be mindful of. All right. Any other questions? Any questions on data decks or this matrix or anything like that? All right. Well, I certainly hope that you found this little session useful. And that you will take something away with you from this session. that will make you more effective and make your job easier, hopefully. So I certainly, that is my goal for every session, that you guys are taking away at least one thing that can help you in that very meaningful and hard and complex work that you do as educators. So thank you so much for your time today. All right, thank you guys.